I didn't mean to see it. I swear I wasn't looking for trouble. It was supposed to be a normal Friday evening. Her office's annual gala at a downtown hotel. A celebration. A night to unwind, laugh, and be proud of the people who worked hard all year. I'd promised Rhea I'd come, not because I enjoyed those corporate functions, but because she said, "It would mean a lot to me if you were there." So I went. The ballroom shimmered in gold and white. Waiters drifted through the crowd like ghosts, balancing glasses of champagne and trays of appetizers. Laughter echoed, music hummed softly in the background, and the scent of expensive perfume hung in the air. Rhea looked stunning that night. Navy blue gown, her hair in soft curls, the silver pendant I'd gifted her on our 5th anniversary resting on her collarbone. She smiled when she saw me and waved me over, though something about her smile seemed rehearsed. "Armand, you made it," she said, brushing her hair back and touching my arm lightly. "Of course," I replied. "I wouldn't miss it." But as the evening went on, something began to feel off. Her laughter seemed louder around her boss, Vikram, a tall, confident man in his early 40s with salt and pepper hair and a smirk that carried entitlement. Every time he spoke to her, she leaned in a little too close. And every time she laughed, she'd glance at me, as if checking my reaction. I told myself I was overthinking. Jealousy, maybe. She'd worked under him for years. They probably had a good rapport. Then it happened. Toward the end of the night, after the final round of toasts, Vikram walked up to her. I was standing a few steps away, sipping water, watching the crowd. He said something to her, she laughed, and then, without hesitation, he pulled her into a tight hug. Not a casual, congratulatory hug. Not the polite 2-second office embrace people share at events. This was different. His hand lingered on her lower back. Her head rested against his shoulder for far too long. And she didn't pull away. The glass slipped from my hand and shattered at my feet. The room fell silent, or maybe it just felt that way. My pulse thundered in my ears as the fragments of glass sparkled on the marble floor. Rhea turned, startled, her face draining of color when she saw me. "Armand, wait," she began, but I didn't. I walked out. The night air hit me like ice. I could still feel my heart pounding as I crossed the parking lot, my chest burning with a mix of disbelief and humiliation. The image of that hug replayed again and again, twisting inside me like a knife. She'd always said her boss was just professional, that his compliments were harmless, that I shouldn't be insecure. Maybe I wasn't insecure after all. Maybe I was just blind. By the time I reached the car, my hands were trembling. I sat there for what felt like hours, staring at the steering wheel, unable to process anything. Then my phone started buzzing. Her name flashing again and again. I didn't answer. When I got home, the silence of our apartment felt heavier than ever. Every photograph on the wall mocked me. The vacations, the anniversaries, the promises. I poured myself a drink and sat on the couch, waiting. It was almost midnight when she finally came through the door. "Armand, please listen to me," she said, her voice shaky. I didn't respond. "It wasn't what you think," she insisted, stepping closer. "He was just congratulating me. The promotion was announced tonight." I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. "A congratulatory hug?" "Yes. That's what you call that?" "It was just a hug," she said, desperation creeping into her tone. "You're blowing this out of proportion. I saw his hand on your back, Rhea. I saw how long it lasted." She bit her lip, looking away. "You don't understand workplace dynamics, Armand. He's my superior." It would have been awkward to pull away. Awkward to pull away, I repeated, my voice breaking. But not awkward to let your husband stand there like a fool while your boss touches you like that? Her eyes filled with tears, but I couldn't tell if they were from guilt or frustration. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "Then why does it feel like this isn't the first time?" She froze. That half-second pause told me everything words couldn't. Over the next few days, our house became a battlefield of silence. We spoke in short, clipped sentences, pretending everything was fine, But every glance, every unspoken word, was a confrontation in itself. Then 2 days later, a message popped up on her laptop while she was in the shower. I hadn't been snooping. I was looking for a file for our finances when the notification appeared. It was from Vikram. "Last night was risky, but worth it. You looked incredible in that dress. I can still feel you." I felt my throat close. The room spun. When she came out of the shower, wrapped in a towel, I was still staring at the screen. Her eyes widened when she saw what I was looking at. She didn't even try to explain. She just sat down, covered her face with her hands and whispered, "I didn't mean for it to go this far." "So it did go that far?" I asked quietly. She didn't answer. And that silence was all I needed. The next week was a blur of half-packed bags, cold meals and sleepless nights. She tried to talk, to apologize, to explain that it had just happened, that she was confused, that she still loved me. But love doesn't survive dishonesty. It suffocates under it. One night, as I packed the last of my clothes, she finally broke down. "Armand, please don't leave. I made a mistake." It was one moment of weakness. I turned to her, holding the wedding photo from our bedroom, the one where she'd been laughing, eyes bright with trust and joy. "A moment of weakness," I said softly. "You built weeks, maybe months, of lies around that moment." Her voice trembled. "He made me feel seen. You've been so distant lately, so focused on work." That hit hard. 'Cause she wasn't wrong. I had been distant. Late nights, stress, exhaustion. But distance doesn't justify betrayal. "I was working for us, Ria," I said. "Not because I loved you less, but because I wanted to give us more." She started sobbing, reaching for me, but I stepped back. For the first time, I saw her not as my wife, but as a stranger. I left that night. For days, I ignored her calls. Mutual friends reached out, saying she was devastated, that she'd quit her job, that Vikram's wife had found out and filed for separation. Apparently, word had spread through the office. She'd been the one betrayed in the end. I didn't feel satisfaction, only emptiness. Betrayal isn't just the loss of trust. It's the death of every version of your future you once believed in. Months later, I ran into her by accident. Cafe I used to love, early morning. She looked thinner, tired, her once confident eyes dulled by guilt. "Armand," she said softly, as if testing the sound of my name. "Ria," I replied, keeping my tone neutral. "I wanted to tell you," she hesitated. "I'm in therapy now. Trying to understand why I did what I did." He nodded. "That's good." She looked at me, tears brimming. "Do you hate me?" I took a deep breath. "No," I said. "I just don't love you anymore." For a long moment she didn't speak. Then she whispered, "You were the best thing that ever happened to me. And I ruined it." I didn't disagree. As I left the cafe, I looked back once. She was staring out the window, alone, a ghost of the woman I used to know. Betrayal changes people. Changed her. Changed me. But it also taught me something, that silence sometimes isn't weakness. It's the sound of someone walking away with dignity. And that night when her boss hugged her, she thought I'd stay quiet. Instead, I walked away. And that single step became the loudest thing I'd ever done.